Before we get started, I just want to give a quick plug to my sister's online shop, Queen's Palace 814. I got this t-shirt as well as this lavender lip scrub. She has a partnership with LEXI NOEL Beauty. Both the shirt and the lip scrub are great. I will leave a link to the shop in the description below. Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I am doing a review of When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I absolutely love this book. It was so good. So good that I was already recommending it to people when I was only 100 pages in. I never do that, but that's how good it was, and I knew that it was going to be fantastic. This book has been all over BookTube lately, but in case you're unfamiliar, in this we follow Sydney Green, who was born and raised in Brooklyn. She's lived in that neighborhood for most of her life, and all of a sudden things are starting to change. People that have lived there longer than she's been alive are suddenly disappearing. New businesses and new neighbors are popping up all over the place, and while we all understand the concept of gentrification and how that happens, Sydney starts to suspect that there's something else going on. She starts looking into the history of the neighborhood with the help of her neighbor Theo, and they start to realize that there is some really weird shit going on. So essentially the concept is gentrification, but make it a thriller. When I tell you that this book was super fucking creepy, reading some parts of it literally gave me chills. I read it physically and listened to the audiobook, and there were some points where I'm like, it's like 11 o'clock at night and I live alone. I don't want to read this right now because it's kind of creeping me out. On top of that, there were so many moments that just made me cringe because it really does tackle how racism can be very blatant, but also how much microaggressions affect you. I ended up giving this 4.75 out of 5 stars. It really was a great read. However, there is one thing that I just felt like was unnecessary, unneeded, didn't need to happen, and I'll talk about that a little later because it may or may not be a spoiler. So if you have read it, stick around for that, and I would love to hear what you thought about it if you've read this too. If you have not yet read When No One Is Watching, this is your official spoiler warning. I really do hope that you pick it up though. Just know that it is going to creep you out. So like always, let's start with the characters. I like Sydney, I really do. You know how some books have like an unreliable narrator? I don't know if that's what was trying to be portrayed here. I haven't read a lot of those books, so I'm not sure if that was the goal, but I felt like with Sydney's anxiety and all the things that she's going through, I felt like maybe that was a part of it. It kind of made you question if she's actually spiraling out or if the things that she's talking about are actually happening. I think maybe because I knew a little bit about it going in, I kind of feel like she just wasn't paying close enough attention to certain things. I don't know if that's because I had a little bit of prior knowledge or if because I'm just a skeptical person in general. Like the part where the guy is pretending to be from whatever company and he's trying to come in, he's standing really close. Like that felt weird. Like that would have made me really uncomfortable. And I know that Sydney like questions herself a little bit and like asked Theo to reassure that that actually happened. But I personally would have been like, yeah, no, I didn't know anything about this. You're not coming into my home. Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't know how I feel about Theo. I don't dislike him, but I mean, he's a good person. He is definitely a good person, but he's also just sort of willfully ignorant to some things, and that's kind of annoying. Like, not just Theo as a character, but in general and in real life. I just find that really annoying. I did not understand why he continued to stay with Kim. I felt like there was really no reason for them to be together, especially where we started off and like how awkward their interactions already were with each other. It kind of just made me think like, well, why are you here? What are you doing? Like, what the fuck? Why are you wasting your time? Not surprised to find out that he's killed somebody before and that he was willing to move a dead body. I mean, I definitely have some questions, but okay. I'm gonna be totally honest. The reason that my rating wasn't a 5-star is because of the romance. As I mentioned in my video where I talk about my feelings on romance novels, I don't like when romance is not the genre, but it isn't actually necessary to the plot. I don't think that in order for the story to work the way it did and to still give me the same feelings that Sydney and Theo needed to start sleeping together, I don't think that was necessary, so I could have done without it. And I do know that Alyssa Cole is a romance author, but still don't think it was necessary. As far as the neighbors go, I absolutely love like all of the older neighbors. They're wonderful in exactly how older Black neighbors are in real life. Like, they look out for everybody. They're always checking on you, making sure you're doing what you're supposed to do, but will also give you side eye and be snippy if it's necessary. So I love Miss Candace and Mr. Perkins. I also thought it was really interesting that they were the ones who basically took down this huge corporation. I didn't expect that. I thought it would be Sydney and Theo, but of course they ended up getting captured because why not? But yeah, I thought that was really cool. So, Kim. I'm not a violent person. I don't condone violence, but everything about her made me want to knock that bitch's teeth down her throat. She is the epitome of what we call a Karen. She's a fucking Karen. She is, to a T, exactly the problem that we are experiencing in the US right now. And I think her interactions with Sydney, her interactions with Theo, all of them already made you hate her. But then for her to watch her dad be shot multiple times and say, "Thank you, I've been waiting for him to drop dead so I can be in charge." Also, the whole her sending her cop boyfriend to murder people, and then the way that it ended, like with the blackout and everything, that so fucking creepy. I just really felt, I was creeped out. I was so fucking creeped out. Like, the whole thing was just really weird. It made me really uncomfortable. It made me uncomfy, like right here. I felt it in my chest. A few other things that I want to talk about are, I felt like, and if you've read this, let me know what you thought. I felt like it was obvious that Sydney's mom was dead, because it says, like, somebody asked about her and she would say, "Oh, she's doing well." She lied. So it was like, okay, obviously her mom is dead, but why is she lying about it? And so getting to that part and finding out like what really happened, that was interesting. I also thought it was a little funny that, fuck, what was his name? Old head at the end. Oh, I also thought it was kind of funny that Fitzroy and Gracie were the ones who moved her mom's body. But like I said, that's the nature of it. Taking care of everybody, that's what they do. The other thing is, I know that under the hospital they were experimenting on them with a drug or whatever, but what were they trying to find? What was the purpose of the experiment? Because they kept saying non-viable, non-viable, and then they thought that Kavan would work, but I don't remember if it was ever explicitly said what they were trying to do. Like, I know that they're a pharmaceutical company and all, but like, what were the results that they were looking for is what I don't understand. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I assume they were testing this drug on them to make them become addicted to it. At least that's what I thought. If I'm wrong about that, let me know. I just did have that one question afterwards. Oh, another thing is Drea. I didn't want to think that she was dead. I thought that maybe she had gotten captured like Mr. Perkins and other people. So the part where she found her body, goosebumps. And she had been gone for 3 days, because I thought it was really weird, one, that she never responded to Drea. That just didn't sit right with me. Like, I knew something was wrong then. But then when Sydney went to her apartment and found the bed bugs, that was weird. I think that's what ticked me off, to the fact that Drea was not coming back. That and the fact that the AC was gone, which of course she found in Kim's place because Kim's a little bitch, but yeah. And again, to the point of Sydney supposedly being made to seem unreliable, there were some things that I just did not agree with that she did or said. However, the part where she runs out of Theo's place because she saw the text on the iPad and she sees him texting, and she found some stuff in the records that they were looking up, plus the information that she got from Drea, that was convincing. I wouldn't have reacted quite the same way that she did, but I definitely would have felt suspicious and cautious around Theo after that. So those are all of my thoughts on When No One Is Watching. If you read this, please let me know, and let me know what you thought about it. I need to talk to someone about this book because I enjoyed it so much and I felt so many things. So if you read it, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.